Good morning, everybody. Yeah. How are we doing? How's this volume? So. How, how's the volume? Too high? The volume's great for you. Okay. Am I hurting anybody's ears? No? Okay. Good. Good. None of you can hear. Okay, so that's a good thing we've got a mic, right? Good thing we got a mic. So I'm glad to see everybody here this morning. And we're all ready for tomorrow, right? Ready or not? Ready or not, it's coming. So we can get out today. Maybe if you're a walker, get out there today. I actually went out this morning a little earlier, and it wasn't all that bad cold-wise. Compared to the last couple of days, it's bearable, which is good. I think it's bearable today. Yeah. So get out and just kind of shake out those cobwebs a little bit. All right. So I'll just mention again that you all know the policy in the municipal buildings is masks when you come in. But for the programs here, if you want, the chairs are all 8 feet apart. So what I'm told is that if you want, you can take your masks off while you're here doing your yoga, and then just make sure you put your mask back on when you go out. And you don't have to. You can keep your mask on the whole time. So it's really it's up to your level of comfort. So there we go. Got all that out of the way. I'm going to take this off because I'm going to get warm. And let's start with a little bit of breathing. So come right up to the front edge of your chair. And close your eyes if that's comfortable. And let your hands rest either together or on your lap, apart, or wherever they're most comfortable. And notice where your shoulders are relative to your hips. Are you kind of slouched forward? Can you bring your shoulders right above your hips, kind of roll them back a little bit, and notice where your head is. So is your head kind of hanging forward, or is your chin lifted? See if you can imagine your head like a water balloon balancing on top of your shoulders. There's just this sense of ease in your neck muscles. And check in with your body this morning. Where are you feeling achy or sore, tired, uncomfortable, tight? All kinds of different words we can use to describe sensations that are less than pleasant. And after you've taken inventory of those places that are feeling a little less than optimal this morning, see if you can find at least one or two parts or areas of your body that feel pretty good. And it might be just that they're the right temperature. Maybe something feels relaxed, open, softened. We don't often recognize these places because we give so much attention to the places of discomfort. It's kind of nice to take a moment just to recognize that for all the discomfort we might have, there is one or two or maybe even more areas that are feeling okay. And then tune into your breath and notice the way the air is moving in and out of your body. If you can breathe in and out through your nose, that's optimal. If you're having some challenge with your breathing, try breathing in through your nose and perhaps out through pursed lips like you're blowing out a candle. And notice if the air is moving evenly between the right and left nostrils. And if you can get a sense of the air as it moves in to the back of your throat. Are you holding tension in your throat so that it's difficult to feel the air, or can you relax the muscles in the back of your throat so that you can feel air moving in and out? And then get a sense of movement in your body as you breathe. Do you feel your chest or your ribs or your belly rising and falling with each breath in and out? Can you allow your body to expand on the inhalations and gently relax on the exhalations? As you breathe in, the belly, rib cage, and collarbones all expand. And as you breathe out, the belly, rib cage, and collarbones gently relax. When you inhale, you're stretching the muscles in your belly and your rib cage. And when you exhale, you're releasing that stretch. You're allowing the muscles to go back to their resting length. The breath is actually stretching your body with every inhalation. So to optimize that stretch, I'm going to invite you to breathe a little more deeply now. Take a little longer to inhale. And when you come to what you feel is the top of your inhalation, see if you can take in a little bit more before you exhale. You might be surprised at how much more space you have available for breath. Again, with every inhalation, come to the top of that inhale and see if you can take in a little more breath. See if you can stretch the belly and the ribcage a little bit more, expand them a little bit more to receive that breath before exhaling. As you continue this expansive feeling on the inhalations, on the exhalations, at the bottom of the exhale, see if you can pull your belly muscles in a little bit and see if you can press out a little more breath. So just like we're expanding a little more on the inhalations, we're contracting a little more on the exhalations. And it's through this extra contraction that we find we have more space available for the next inhale. That extra contraction is like squeezing a sponge that's full of water. When you squeeze that sponge, it's able to absorb more water. If you never squeeze the sponge, or you only squeeze it a little bit, you won't be able to sop up much water. So in the same way that a dry sponge can absorb more water, empty lungs can absorb more breath on the inhalation. Breathe in to your fullest capacity. So coming to the top of the inhale, pause, and then breathe in a little bit more. Breathing out completely when you get to the bottom of the exhalation. Engage your belly muscles, pull them in a little bit more and see if you can press out any little remnants of breath. And the next time that you breathe in, hold your breath for a count of 3. And after that count of 3, slowly exhale. And repeat as you get to the top of your inhalation, fill your body completely and hold your breath in for a count of 3. And after that count of 3, gently exhale. And one final time on the inhalation, when you come to the top of your inhale, hold your breath in for a count of 3. And then slowly and gently release the breath and go back to your natural breathing. So just let the air move in and out as it will. You don't have to deepen your breath. And let your eyes gently open. Good. Let's roll the shoulders a couple of times here. So bring them way up toward your ears and then squeeze your shoulder blades together. So make it a really big round movement with the shoulders, going up and around. And if you're going backwards, switch directions and go forwards. And if you're going forwards, switch direction and go backwards. So really exaggerate that movement. Notice right side and left side if there's a difference in how that feels. Good. And the next time you have your shoulders up to your ears, I'm going to ask you to hold here. Squeeze the shoulders up. Squeeze them up a little higher if you can. Breathing in and breathing out. And then lower the shoulders nice and slow all the way down, as if you could bring your shoulders down to the floor. So really squeeze down with the shoulders. Breathing in and breathing out, let's slowly raise them up. Bring the shoulder tops right up to the ears. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep breathing. And slowly lower down. Like you could bring your shoulder tops right down to the floor. And last time, we're going to slowly bring the shoulder tops up. Squeeze up as hard as you can, like you could get your shoulders inside your ears. And as you're breathing, slowly lower down and draw the shoulders down as if you could touch the floor with your shoulders. And then go back to sort of neutral, so you're relaxing the shoulders. Notice your chest muscles relaxing, your upper back muscles relaxing. And then we're going to take the right arm and we're going to just start to circle that arm up and around. So if we think about the elbow, drawing some nice big circles on the wall on that left side. Nope, that would be the right side. Sorry about that. So we're drawing these nice big circles. Now if you're having some issues with your shoulder, your neck, or your arm this morning, and you can only make little circles like this, make those little circles. Breathing in and breathing out at some point, and I like to make a change in direction when my elbow is down because the shoulder's in the most stable position. So we're going to switch the direction of the circles. So maybe you started out going forward and now you're going backward, or maybe you started going backward and now you're going forward. All right. And then let's take that elbow and make a figure 8. All right. So going up and around. And again, make your 8 in whatever way supports your body this morning. So if you've got an issue with your shoulder, maybe it's a small figure 8. If that shoulder's feeling pretty loose and limber this morning, make a nice big figure 8. And breathe. And then reverse your 8. So go the other way. Good. Okay, and then we're just going to take that arm down. We're going to hang it right down by the side, kind of turn it around a little bit. And then we're going to relax that arm. We're going to take the other arm. This would be the left, correct? Yes. All right, so we'll make some circles with this left. Breathing in and breathing out. And notice if you're going in the same direction that you started with the other arm, or maybe you switch it up on this side. So we all have our tendencies, the ways that we like to move our bodies, the ways that are comfortable, and we tend to avoid the ways that are less comfortable. And at some point, hopefully when your elbow is down toward the floor, you're going to switch direction. And again, that's not mandatory, but I like to do it just because your shoulder is more stable when the arm is down by your side than when your arm is up, right? So your shoulder, I say this all the time, the most mobile joint in the body and the most vulnerable to injury if we're not careful. Okay, at some point, let's switch that to a figure 8. And notice if this arm works a little differently than the other one. Quite often that's the case. And quite often we're not even aware that there's a difference. Keep breathing and reverse your 8. Good. Okay, just a couple more. Great, and then we're going to take that arm, hang it down, and just kind of turn it around a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to take the right arm, bring it forward, have your hand like you're saying stop, and then we're just going to bring the fingers down and up a few times. And notice if you've got a little music in your wrist, in your shoulder or elbow, maybe your fingers. Next time you're saying stop, we're going to hold there. Take your other hand and pull back on all 4 of your fingers. Leave your thumb alone. It doesn't like to be pulled back, so it'll complain. Now if your arm is way up here, see if you can bring it down below your shoulder. That relaxes the shoulder top a little bit. Now pull back strongly on the fingers and keep that tension on all 4 fingers. Don't let that little finger hang out there. And you're going to bend your elbow as you keep pulling back on the fingers, and then you're going to straighten the elbow. Right? So you're just bending and then straightening. We're just stretching different muscles in the hands and fingers and up into the forearm. When your elbow is bent, the stretch pretty much stops right before your elbow. It goes from the fingers all the way up to the forearm. And when your elbow is straight, that stretch continues up into the muscles that cross at your elbow. So the next time that your arm is straight, we're going to hold here and breathe. Good. So tomorrow, before you go out to shovel, this is a good stretch to do. Get those forearms ready. Breathing in, breathing out. We're going to release that, let the fingers come down, and now we're going to take the left hand and just pull back on the back of the hand, not your fingers, but on the back of the hand. Same thing, keep the pressure on the back of the hand as you gently bend and then extend that right elbow. So we're doing the same thing, we're stretching muscles that cross at the wrist when we've got the elbow bent, and we're stretching muscles that go all the way up and cross at the elbow when we have the elbow straight. So another good stretch. So if you're going to stretch for tomorrow's shoveling, you want to make sure you do both ways, right? So next time you have your arm extended, we're going to hold here. Because depending on how you hold that shovel, the bottom side of your forearm or the top side of your forearm is going to do a little bit more work. Keep breathing. Good. And then release that and just kind of circle the wrist around a little bit. And then we'll take the left, extend it out, right, like you're saying stop, and then fingers down and up. So you want to get a little movement in there. Notice if the side is more noisy or less noisy, or equally noisy, could be. Good, keep breathing, whatever you're doing, just keep on breathing. And the next time that you have your fingers up in that stop position, we're going to take the right hand now, take hold of all 4 of those fingers and pull back. If your arm's way up here and your shoulder is kind of engaged, see if you can drop the arm down a little bit. You want to relax that left shoulder. Keep pulling back as you gently bend and then extend that elbow. All right. So we're going through a little bit of work here. Stretching the muscles in the fingers. So you have little teeny muscles in your fingers. Believe it or not. You have muscles in the palm of your hand. Those muscles, some of those muscles go up over the wrist, so they come up over the wrist into the forearm. Next time you have your elbow straight, we're going to hold here and relax the shoulder. Now with the arm straight, again, we're stretching the muscles of the forearm that come up into the elbow. Those are the muscles that do this. They bend your elbow. We want to stretch those out a little bit. Breathing in, breathing out. And release your fingers, let them come down toward the floor, and then we're going to take that left hand and pull back on the back of the hand. So again, not on your fingers, because you have little tendons in here. If you pull back on your fingers, you could overstretch those tendons. So we're just going to breathe in and out. Make sure the shoulder is down away, so you don't want the shoulder up here. You want to have it down and away from your ear. And then a very gentle bend and extend. And breathe. Some of these movements, they seem so simple, and yet they can really give you the most benefit. You don't realize how much tension we hold in our hands, our arms, because we're always doing. Right? When you're always doing, you're always engaging those muscles. Next time you have your elbow straight, let's pause here. Hold and breathe. Make sure your breath is nice and smooth. Good. Notice where you feel the stretch. If you feel it more in this arm than you did in the other arm. Could be in the wrist, could be in the elbow, the shoulder, could be in the muscles of the forearm, the upper arm. And then relax that and circle around. So there's no right place to feel a stretch like that because there's so many different places that we're stretching at the same time. Let's do another little exercise for the hands. So bring your palms together. And then we're going to pretend we're reading a book. So open your hands so that the little finger side of your hands stay together. And then we're going to bring the backs of the hands together, the fingers in toward your face, and then down, up, around, and back. Right? So that's the whole movement. So opening the book toward your face, down, around, and back. Now, as you're doing this, see if you can keep the backs of your hands together from your wrists. So, in other words, not like this with just your fingers, but the whole back of the hand. And you can let your elbows come up, your shoulders might raise a little bit. Notice if you're holding your breath and see if you can start to deepen your breathing a little bit so this becomes more like a little bit of a flow of movement, right? A little flow of movement in your body. When I'm working with people who work at computers a lot, this is one of the stretches I give them all to do because your wrists and your forearms get really tired when you're working on a computer all day. Next time your palms are together, whenever you get there, just we'll all kind of meet up in that same place. All right, and then we're going to reverse the direction of those little wrist circles. So bring your palms away. It's like you're showing me your book. And then the fingers come forward, down, backs of the hands together, fingers in, up, around, and back. Same thing. So we're just going to get into this little flow. Notice if you're clenching your jaw or if you're holding your shoulders way up here. Yeah. Keep breathing as you're doing this as well. Good. Okay, now to make it really fun. So the next time your palms are together, we're going to pause here and then go toward yourself. Out, around. When the palms come together, go away from yourself. So we're just going to keep switching direction, right? Everybody got that? Everybody looks like they're doing fine, but smile a little. It's not that serious if we don't get it right. Okay, can you go a little faster? Can you go faster and breathe? I guess I should ask that question. You can probably go fast if you hold your breath. How quickly can you go while you're breathing, right? Oh, and your wrists are getting really warmed up now, right? Okay. And next time your palms are together, let's hold here. Good. Press your palms together. Now, as you press your palms together, draw the heels of your hands, right? These are the heels of your hands. You're going to draw the heels of your hands down as far as they'll go. As they start to separate, you want to come back. So keep the heels of your hands together and down as far as they go and press into your hands. Press your right into your left. Press your left into your right. Can you lift your elbows but not your shoulders? In other words, not this, but this. And you probably can't even see my elbows lifting, right? Because I don't have that kind of range, but maybe you do. Are you breathing? Okay. Now, keeping your palms pressed together, you're going to bring your hands up like your fingers toward the ceiling and see if you can get your elbows either close together or able to touch. And squeeze. So squeeze from your fingers all the way to your elbows. Even if your elbows aren't touching, that's okay. Keep breathing. And then bring the elbows down. We're going to bring the heels of the hands down. Keep them together, lifting the elbows but not the shoulders. Breathing in, breathing out. Press firmly into your hands, right into left, left into right. And keep breathing as we come up. Going to bring the elbows close together. Squeeze everything. Elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, fingers, thumbs. I forgot the thumbs the last time I mentioned that. And then one more time each way. We're going to come all the way down. Press the heels of the hands down toward the floor. Press, press, press. Keep breathing. You might feel a little shaking in your hands. That's okay. That's normal. And then we're slowly going to come up. Keep pressing, pressing, pressing. Come all the way up. Press the elbows together. Press the hands together. Fingers, thumbs. Good. And then relax everything. Let the arms both hang down by the sides. Kind of shake them out a little bit. Let your hands rest on your lap with your palms facing down. Let your fingers be soft. Close your eyes. Taking a couple of deep breaths in and out. Notice if you're still holding a little tension in your shoulders or your arms, your hands or your fingers, and see if you can let that tension go. And as you let the tension go, what are the sensations you feel in your arms? So there's lots of different ways that we can feel the sensation of blood flow, of nerve conduction. When we tighten muscles and then relax them, we're allowing this flow to open up a little bit. So just notice, you might sense tingling, you might sense warmth or coolness. Your hands might feel bigger, wider, flatter, broader. You might be aware of the temperature difference between the palms of your hands and the backs of your hands. Taking a breath in, let it out with a sigh. Okay. And then we're going to take that right arm now. We're going to continue with the arms. Go across to the left, and we're going to pull that arm all the way over to the left side of the body. Turn your head to the right, looking out over that right shoulder as far as you can. Lift and lower your chin like you're saying yes. Breathing in, breathing out. And bring your head back to center. We're going to take that arm, sweep it around and behind your back. Let it rest on the small of your back. Reach back there, grab hold of your hand, wrist, or forearm, whatever you can get. See if you can sit up nice and tall. So the tendency is to kind of lean forward. So if you're sitting up nice and tall, just pull that arm over, drop your left ear to your left shoulder, and then raise your head a little bit. So we're just dropping the ear to the shoulder. So keep your nose facing forward, right? So in other words, don't turn your head in that direction. We're trying to bring the ear down toward the shoulder. And next time your ear is on your shoulder, stay here. And see if you can feel a stretch somewhere in that right side. Can be anywhere from your head, might be up around your ear, could be down into your jaw, your neck, could be into the top of the shoulder, down into the arm. So keep holding the ear there on the shoulder as you turn your nose down and then up. So there's this rotation. It's like a no movement. It's a little bit of a no movement. Good. Excellent. And then we're going to bring the head back to center. Come all the way back up. Release that arm. Bring it back around to the front. We're going to take the left arm over to the right. Pull across. Turn and look out over your left shoulder. Lift and lower your chin like you're saying yes. So yes movement here. And then back to center. Going to release that arm, sweep it around behind your back, bring it around the small of your back, holding onto your hand, wrist, or forearm. We're just going to pull that arm over to the right. Thank you. Yes. Drop your right ear to your right shoulder and lift. And again, just drop the ear to the shoulder and lift and breathe as you're doing this. Right? Nice slow movements here. Next time your ear is on your shoulder, you're going to stay here and breathe and notice where you feel a stretch. So hopefully somewhere on that left side, it could be anywhere from the left side of your head to your ear, to your neck, your shoulder, your arm, down into your elbow. Some people even feel it like inside the ear. So some people will feel like, oh, that feels like it's in my eardrum. Might be some tension that kind of runs in there. And then we're going to turn the nose down and up. So it's like a no movement with the head. Breathing in, breathing out. Slow and deliberate movement here. Gentle, round breath. Always in and out with the breath. Good. Okay. And then head comes back to center. We're going to release that arm. Let both arms hang down. Give them a little bit of a shake out. And then let your hands rest on your lap once again. Close your eyes. Breathe in, breathe out. Notice where you feel more open, where you might feel a little more alive and alert in your body. And compare how your upper body feels now, your arms, your shoulders, your neck, maybe your upper chest and upper back. Compare that with perhaps how your feet and legs feel in the moment. And then let your eyes open. So simply by moving body parts, we become not only more aware of what we're doing, but we become aware of sensations that are present there. So just doing those gentle movements for your arms and hands can create more awareness in your arms and hands. So if you have any neuropathy or anything like that, your tactile sense actually increases by doing these kinds of awareness practices. So let's move on to the lower body, because I had you do a little compare and contrast. We're going to take that right leg, extend it out, have your heel on the floor, and we'll squeeze and extend the toes. So I'm doing this with my toes for those who can't see what's going on there. Breathing in and breathing out. Let's start to point and flex the foot. Now, if you're having some issue with your leg or your hip or your knee and it's too difficult to have your foot lifted off the floor, you can just slide your heel on the floor as you're doing this. Good, and then let's go to a circle. And notice if there's some ankle music. Sometimes there's a little ankle music. And then reverse direction. Good. And then heel comes right down to the floor. Now press out through your heel as if you were pressing on an accelerator with your heel, right? Not with your toes, but with your heel. And engage the muscles here in the upper part of your leg. So I talk about these muscles all the time. They're called quadriceps muscles. There are 4 of them, and they're super important to keep strong if you want to stay mobile and independent. So we're going to keep those muscles active and engaged. Take both hands to your left leg. So your left knee should be bent, your foot on the floor underneath your ankle pretty much. And then what we're going to do is with a nice tall spine, we're going to come forward like we're trying to bring the belly button down onto the knee. Now if you're really close to the front edge of your chair and you feel like you're going to fall off, scoot back a little bit. Now come back up, and then we're going to go forward. So we're just sort of testing things out a little bit, stretching forward and back. So what I'm going to invite you to do is come forward as far as you can and see if you can feel a stretch in the back of that right leg, right? When you're there, when you can feel that stretch, stay there. Now if you're looking at your toes or if you're looking at your navel, I want you to bring your head up a little bit and lengthen your spine. So in other words, if your chin is down like this, you're rounding through your upper back. What I'd like you to do is lengthen your spine a little bit. Beautiful. Keep breathing and come forward a little bit more. Now you can put some pressure into your hands. That's going to give your upper body a little bit of strength work, right? So it's like lifting weights a little bit. So we're going to press into the hands, keep coming forward, and if you're so inclined, take that right hand rather, and slide it down your right leg toward your toes. Grab your big toe. Okay, grab your little toe. Or remember what it was like to grab your big toe or little toe, right? We all could do it at one point. Keep breathing. You might have been 6 months old, but back when we were a little more water than not. Keep breathing in and breathing out. Great. So the straighter your right knee is, the more you're going to feel this stretch in the back of the leg. So if you have to bend your knee to touch your toes, I would say let go of the toes and straighten the leg instead. Okay, we all doing okay? You're breathing? Good. Nobody's fallen off their chair. So let's see if we can press into that left leg with the left hand. So we're going to strengthen the left arm here. Press into that leg and come all the way up. So we're getting a little bit of strengthening there. Okay, so keeping that leg straight, take both hands to your chair right alongside your hips. We're going to lift and lower that leg nice and slow. Right? So it's nice to do like a count of 3 when you raise and when you lower. Right? And a slow 3, not a quick 3, But a slow 3. Keep that knee straight. So when the knee bends, these muscles stop working because they're being stretched. So when the knee is straight, we're really activating these thigh muscles. The next time that you lift, hold here. Sit up really tall. Breathe. Squeeze these muscles a little bit more. Feel the shakiness in there? Yeah? Anybody feel a burning in there too? Yeah, good. Those muscles are working extra hard. That's why they're doing that. Okay, so see if you can keep that same level of engagement and take 4 to lower down. When you've lowered all the way down, relax that leg, give the knee a bend, and give that thigh a little bit of a massage. Okay. And then we're going to take that foot, slide it back underneath your chair. Slide it back as far as it'll go. Try not to fall off your chair, though. So if you're up too close to the front, you might scoot back a little bit. Okay. Now press your right heel toward the floor and your knee toward the floor at the same time. Push into your hands and lengthen your spine. And breathe. Wow, that's a lot to be doing all at once. A little bit of a stretch here. Good. One more breath in and out, nice and slow and steady. And then we'll release all of that. Excellent. Let's extend that leg out, just kind of shake it around a little bit. All right, we're going to bend the right knee, have that foot on the floor underneath the knee. Extend your left leg, heel on the floor, toes first. So we're doing this with the toes. Squeezing and extending. Getting a little movement in the bottom of the foot. A little space between the toes if you can. And then point and flex. So same thing on this side. If you've got an issue with your hip or your knee or your leg or your back, and it makes it really challenging to have your foot lifted off the floor, you can always just have the heel on the floor and slide. And circle around at the ankle. You can have your heel on the floor. You can have it lifted. Doesn't really matter. And reverse direction. Good. Excellent. Then heel comes down to the floor. Really activate these thigh muscles over here. Nice and strong. Again, you're going to have your right heel underneath your right knee, both hands on that right thigh. So as you press down through your left heel, again, it's like you're pressing on the accelerator. You're really trying to press down on that pedal, but you're trying to bring your toes toward your knee. You'll get that activation in those quadriceps muscles on that side as well. So spine is nice and tall, and we're just going to come forward and back a few times just to test that out. So as you come forward, just notice at what point in that forward bend you start to feel a stretch in the back of your leg. So it might be in the lower leg. I don't think I mentioned this on the other side, but you could feel this in the lower leg or the ankle. You could feel it in the upper part of the leg. You might even feel it into your back or your hip. So the next time you come forward, when you find that sweet spot, I'm going to ask you to stay there and breathe. So again, don't look at your navel. Don't let your head drop down and your upper back round. We're really trying to keep the spine nice and long. Pull your belly in a little bit. That supports your back. Relax your neck. So if you've got your shoulders up like this, see if you can relax your neck and your jaw a little bit here. Good. Now, if it feels okay, take your left hand and slide it down that left leg. And grab your big toe. No, not on this side, huh? Okay. Remember what that was like? Most of us could get our toes in our mouths at one point. Imagine being that flexible now, right? Yikes. Breathing in, breathing out. Looks good, you guys. Well, you need long arms, yeah. That's it. My arms are too short. My legs are fine. It's my arms that are too short. Okay, now press into your right hand. So we're going to really strengthen that right shoulder and arm. As you press into your hand, push yourself back up. Great. As you come all the way up, take both hands to the sides of your chair, right alongside your hips. The muscles here in that left leg are still nice and strong. And we're going to lift and lower that leg. Lifting and lowering to a count of 3, right? So the slower you go, the more you're going to activate these thigh muscles. the longer it takes you to lift and lower. When you're lifting, you're engaging the muscles in one way. When you're lowering and you have those muscles still activated, you're engaging those muscles in another way. It's a way to make the muscles even more resilient, right? Instead of just lifting in one direction and letting it relax. So the next time that you lift, we're going to hold and breathe. Now, make sure those muscles are super strong. Imagine you could squeeze the muscles, like the muscles can hug the bone, right? So you have a big bone up here, it's called your femur, and the muscles are they're giving that femur a really big hug. So breathe in and breathe out. Doesn't make the leg any less shaky or burny, right? But just knowing that those muscles are really working. And the more you feel, the stronger you're going to get here. Now, can you take a count of 4 to lower that heel down to the floor? Excellent. And then relax that leg, bend the knee, give that thigh a little massage because you were just doing a lot of work there with those muscles. All right, and we're going to slide that foot underneath the chair. So another opportunity to just kind of hold on a little bit. Slide the leg back underneath. Press your heel and your knee to the floor simultaneously. So as you press the knee and the heel toward the floor, push into your hands and lengthen your spine a bit. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. So we're stretching a little bit through the front of the body. We spend a lot of our time in flexion. I talk about this a lot. Flexion is when your knee is closer to your shoulder, so like a seated position, as opposed to a standing position when your knee and your shoulder are farther apart, right? So flexion makes us shorter and rounder. Think about that. Let's release that. Good. Let's extend that leg out. Just kind of wiggle that out a little bit. Okay. So scoot over to the right side of your chair. And then we're going to use the right heel and toes to walk the foot out and walk the foot back. So see if you can keep your body facing forward if that's possible. You might angle a little bit to the right, but try not to follow your foot with your nose, right? So you don't want to be turning as you're doing this. Next time you have your leg out to the side, let's stay here. Now your heel should be roughly underneath your knee. In other words, you don't want to have your leg way out here, and you don't want to have it way in here. You want to have your foot flat on the floor and your heel basically under your knee. Now take your this right knee, you're going to pull that right knee toward the wall at the back of the room. Feel the muscles in the side of your hip and the side of your leg engaging, and then relax that. So let's do that again. So pull that knee toward the back wall and relax. A couple more times. We're going to pull the knee toward the back wall and relax. And this time we're going to pull and we're going to hold. So as you're holding here, I want you to focus on the muscles in the outside of the hip and all the work they're doing right now, right? So feel how strongly they're working. And some of us might be feeling a stretch in through the inner thigh, a little through the inner thigh. Keep breathing. Take your right hand to your left leg. Take your left hand, slide it way to the back of the chair as far as it'll go, and then see if you can twist to the left. Keep pulling your right knee toward the wall behind you, though. Don't let that knee come forward. Keep pulling the knee. Keep breathing. If you're not breathing, start now. Great. And then slowly unwind. Excellent. So as you're here, you're still pulling the knee toward the back wall? Yep. Keep those muscles active as you straighten your leg. Bring your heel to the floor and your toes up toward your shin. Good. And we're going to take the right hand down that right thigh. So you're facing me. Your leg is facing that way. We're going to take the hand down the thigh and we're going to lean into that right side. Now keep this left shoulder open. Don't let it come forward. And then come back up. Right? So we're going to lean, draw that left shoulder back. And then come back up. And one more time, we're going to lean, draw the left shoulder back, and come all the way back up. Excellent. Okay, relax that leg, use your heel and your toes. Walk the foot around, keep coming around. We're going to go all the way over to the left, so scoot. It's a long ride over there. And then we're going to take the heel and the toes of the left side, walk the leg out, and walk the leg back. So keep your body facing forward, and we're just walking the leg out. Now, most of us are going to notice at least a little bit of a difference in how far we can walk that leg back on the left side versus how far we could walk it back on the right side. And that's just how our hips are. Our bodies in general are not symmetrical. We suffer from this optical illusion, right? I have 2 arms, I have 2 legs, so I'm symmetrical. But our arm and leg lengths are not the same. The development of the muscles is not the same. Even your bones are not the same. If we could like do an x-ray in there and look at your bones, you would notice a difference in the bones in your left arm and your right arm. Next time your foot is out to the side, we're going to hold there. And again, you're facing forward. Your heel is roughly underneath your knee. So in other words, you don't want it way out here. You want to have it roughly underneath your knee. Now pull that knee toward the wall at the back of the room and relax. And a few more times. So we're just going to pull and relax. Now some of us are going to feel quite a stretch here in the inner part of the thigh up into the groin. Some of us are going to feel it more as engagement in the hip muscles here, or the muscles in the side of the leg. The next time you pull back, let's hold here. So this is holding this particular engagement of the muscles is good for strengthening the muscles right here around the hip. Now we don't think often about the muscles in the side of the hip, how important they are for maintaining a healthy hip, right? So that you're able to move the hip in the directions that it's supposed to, and also for walking, because some of the musculature that we're engaging here actually supports your knee, right? So when you're walking, if you want your knees to be safe and strong, you got to make sure you work all the muscles that support it. How are we doing? Everybody doing okay? Okay. Let's take that left hand to the right leg. And take your right hand, slide it along the bottom of your chair till you get to the back, and then just gently twist to the right. Keep pulling your left knee toward the wall at the back of the room, right? So the muscles on the side of that hip should be saying, wow, what are we doing? There's a lot going on here. A couple more breaths. Great, and then slowly unwind. Good, we're going to take that leg, it's still engaged, and we're going to extend out, have the heel on the floor, toes are lifted. Right hand is still on the chair. We're going to keep the shoulder back, right? So you don't want to let the right shoulder come forward. You want to keep it back. And we're just going to lean over into that left side and then come back up, right? Breathing in and breathing out. So make sure the right shoulder doesn't roll forward. We don't want to have a twist in the spine. We don't want to have a rounding in that shoulder, because those are patterns. Think of patterns like that as they're more comfortable, but we're reinforcing sort of bad posture when we do that. So we should be challenging ourselves in a way that we feel a little bit of a stretch, or we feel a little bit of discomfort. Not pain, but discomfort, right? So one more time, we're going to lean over. And then slowly come all the way up. Excellent. Let's relax that leg. Use your heel and your toes. Walk that foot around. Scoot your backside to the center of your chair. When you get to the center of your chair, now take your right leg and cross it over your left. If you can cross your knee on top of your knee, do it that way. If you can't cross in that fashion, you can cross at your ankles. That's fine. So when we had the leg out to the side, we were engaging the muscles here in the side of the hip. And now we're going to engage muscles in the inner thigh. That also helps to strengthen the hip and protect and strengthen the knee. So squeezing those inner thigh muscles together, squeeze your buttocks as well, and see if you can sit up really tall, and then relax everything. All right? So breathing in and out, we're squeeze everything all the way up, and then relax everything. And one more time, we're going to squeeze and hold. So you're squeezing the inner thighs together. You're breathing in and breathing out. You might be feeling a stretch in the outside of the hip. You might be feeling more engagement of those inner thigh muscles. And then relax all of that. Good. So we're going to lean back a little bit. Relax, so your muscles and your legs are relaxed. Lean back just a little bit. Have your hands on your chair. Pull your belly in. Now see if you can switch your legs. There you go. Okay, we're coming right back up. Ankle on ankle is fine if that works for you. So sit up nice and tall. We're going to squeeze those inner thigh muscles together, engage the buttocks, the glutes, and then relax, right? So do that a few times. So squeezing inner thigh muscles and then relaxing. Good. So your glutes, by the way, that's your buttocks, that's your bum muscles. Your glutes are super important for being mobile, right? One more time, we're going to squeeze and we're going to hold. Because your glutes are the muscles that you use to propel yourself forward, right? So every time you take a step, you're using these muscles in your backside actually propels you forward. Keep breathing. Good, good. Notice what you're feeling. Maybe you're feeling the engagement, the active engagement of those inner thigh muscles. Maybe you're feeling a bit of a stretch. And then we're going to relax all of that. Excellent. Let's uncross the legs. We're going to take the right ankle now, cross it on top of the left knee. Ankle on ankle is fine, right? So if you can't get your ankle on your knee, go down to your ankle on top of your ankle. Sit up nice and tall. We're going to take both hands to that shin on the front. And then we're going to come forward like you're trying to bring your navel down onto your shin. And then come back up. Okay, this is another stretch that most of us avoid because there's a lot of sensation in this stretch. Am I right? Yes, you get to a certain point and it's like, wow. So keep doing this forward and back, real gentle movement, right? So relax your shoulders, relax your jaw and your neck. Try not to look at your belly button. So we're keeping the back nice and tall, right? And the next time you come forward, I'm just going to pause here and hold. And notice what you're feeling in that hip, right? So notice the sensation. Now, if you have your own hip, if you have your original parts in there, you may be more limited if you've got some arthritis. Anybody in the room have a little arthritis somewhere in their body? Just a little bit, right? Yeah. Right. Yeah, so you might have a little bit of limitation there. If you've got an aftermarket hip, you're going to have some limitation because of the nature of the part that's in there, but you may actually have more than before you had your hip put in, right? So next inhalation, we're going to slowly come up. Excellent. Let's uncross that leg, bring the foot to the floor, cross the other ankle on top of the knee. Again, you can do this ankle on top of ankle, that's fine. Good. Sitting up nice and tall, we're just going to come forward like you're trying to bring your navel down onto your shin, and then come back up. So we'll do that a couple of times. Now, again, just sort of to compare and contrast, notice if there's a difference with this leg crossed than there was with the other leg crossed. And for most of us, there's going to be that difference. Again, when we think about the structure of the body, right? So it's not just how I use my body, where I'm stronger, where I'm more flexible, but oftentimes it's the construction of your bones. It's the hardware, right? So maybe on one side you have the hip socket where the leg comes up, the leg bone comes up into the hip socket. It might be a deeper socket so that you don't have the rotation available. You might have a shallower socket where you can really get forward. Now the next time you come forward, you're going to hold here and breathe. Yeah, and again, try not to look at your belly button. Try not to round through your upper back. And I always like to move a little in this position. I don't think I mentioned that on the other side, but I always find that it's more comfortable for me if I just do a really gentle kind of rocking movement. I can feel that as I go a little more to the right, it feels a little tighter. As I move a little more to the left, maybe it feels a little more spacious, a little more open. This is a nice movement to do. This is a nice stretch to do after walking. So when you're walking, you're using all those hip muscles. It's a great way to stretch that out. You can do this lying down too. Anybody know that posture lying down? Have you seen that posture lying down? Yeah? Yeah. It's so stay where you are, if that's okay. I'm just going to get down on the floor and just show you. So this, you can do this on the bed too when you get home from your walk. This would be the stretch on the floor. You'd fall out of bed. Yeah. So don't. So not recommended for you, Pat. Definitely not recommended. And then we're going to press into the hands and come all the way up. Excellent. And uncross that leg. Good. So let your hands rest on your lap for a moment. Close your eyes if that feels okay. Feel your feet on the floor. And notice the sensations in your legs, your feet, your toes, your knees, your hips, your ankles. Notice your back. And notice the quality of the touch between your hands and your legs. So if your palms are facing down on your legs, what is the quality of that touch? And then turn your awareness back to your breath. And as you breathe in and out, feel your body expand and contract. As you inhale, feel your belly and your rib cage expand. As you exhale, feel your belly and your rib cage contract. As you breathe in, see if you can feel or sense your lungs inflating. And as you breathe out, see if you can feel or sense your lungs deflating. So again, as you breathe in, feel your lungs inflate. And as you breathe out, feel your lungs deflate. And to get a deeper sense of what's happening in the lungs, now imagine the left side. As you inhale, there are two lobes in that left lung. As you inhale, it's like two balloons filling up at the same rate. Feel those two balloons filling up. And as you exhale, it's like those two balloons deflating. So on the left side, as you breathe in, the two lobes are inflating and the two lobes are deflating. And moving your awareness to your right side, the right lung has three lobes. So as you inhale, feel three balloons inflating. And as you exhale, three balloons deflating. And now see if you can sense the left and right lungs simultaneously. As you breathe in, all five lobes are inflating, all five balloons are inflating. And as you exhale, all five lobes are deflating. Get a sense of that. Now your left side has two lobes because you have to have room for your heart. So your heart's over there. So see if you can feel or sense your heart as part of your lungs. As you breathe in and out, feel the lobes of your lungs inflating. Feel your heart as it sits in the left side of your chest. When the lungs inflate, they're taking in oxygen and they're delivering that oxygen through the heart to the rest of the body. And when your lungs deflate, they're taking all the carbon dioxide that the heart is bringing back to the lungs from the rest of the body and they're expelling that carbon dioxide out into the air. So see if you can just get a sense of the balloons inflating with oxygen and the balloons deflating and letting go of carbon dioxide. The balloons are inflating and they're sending that oxygen into the heart. The balloons are deflating and they're taking that carbon dioxide away from the heart. As you breathe in, the heart is delivering oxygen to your fingers and toes and everything in between. And as you exhale, your heart is gathering all the carbon dioxide from your toes and your fingers and everything in between and sending it back out into the atmosphere. Feel how elegant this system is. How simple. How you take it for granted every moment of the day, just how important each breath in and out is. Take your hands up to your chest and just let them rest there gently. And see if you can feel for a moment gratitude for your breath. For every inhalation, for every exhalation, and how it represents not just air in and air out, but it represents life to every cell in your body. With deep gratitude to the breath, take a full breath in, let it out with a sigh. Ah. And then if you'd like, you can let your eyes open and maybe just acknowledge all these wonderful folks in the room. So grateful for our practice together. Great. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe tomorrow. And remember your shoveling exercises, right? Your stretches. It goes like that. Oh, it goes like that. Yep. I'll send you the check when you plow the driveway. I like that. Oh, you get a discount with cash. Okay, see the lady on the left over there. She'll give you the info.